guys. Okay, this is a slightly different video blog, I suppose, that I've been used to. Okay, so 5 years ago, you remember that I actually hurt my wrist in an ambulance, or rather, not an ambulance, in an accident when I was in the ambulance service. Okay, and it's taken this long for it to get together and work properly, and I can start using it again. Anyway, last week I went for an interview for the Southwestern Ambulance Service. That is SWAST, and I thought I'd talk to you about it. Okay, so anyone who's interested in joining the ambulance service, this particular position is for an ECA, which is emergency care assistant job. This is what happens. I won't tell you the secret stuff in there, because that's something obviously which you need to know yourself, and you'll learn at the interview. But I can quickly go through what to expect. Okay, so after you've done you're filling out your paperwork, and you send off all the information to say yes, I want to apply for the ECA job. You get something back saying, okay, could you do a survey? Like a questionnaire. You've got to pass that survey, and then they'll say, yes, okay, we'd like you to have an interview. And in this day, which takes about 3.5 hours, so prepare for a sort of 3.5, 4 hours max day, you're expected to do an interview. You need to do a driving test, a driving theory, and you'll have 2 elements of a physical aspect as well. Okay, so when I did my interview, I had to go all the way up to Taunton, which is just top of Somerset. And that took me about a 2.5 hour drive. I drive slowly, so and it wasn't very nice weather. It was that horrible, wind and sleet and all that sort of things. And I didn't know how far or how long it was going to be, so I took the family up. So my 2 children and my husband came up there, and sadly they had to stay in the car waiting for me whilst I did this 2.5, 3 hour session. So what happened was that I had an interview first of all, and I just wore my usual interview stuff. And the questions they ask you are something like, what do you know about the service? What do you know about the job itself? What could you expect when you're doing the role? And then they'll ask you scenarios that you've been in, which is, what's your, what scenario did you have where you were working in a team environment, that sort of thing. So prepare for those types of questions. What I did personally, I went onto the SWAST website, and I looked at all the documents they had to do with all their numbers, to do with the number crunching, like how many patients they have in a year, how many ambulance stations they have, how many helicopter ports, that sort of thing, because it will show them that you are actually interested, rather than just going for an interview and not really being bothered because you don't want to go for the job, you just want to go for the interview. Okay, so really show that you're interested in the job and know what the job involves. Okay, so you're not a paramedic, you're actually helping the paramedic, and a really good ECA is somebody that can predict what the paramedic is about to do and just offer them the tools that they need at the time. Okay, that comes in time, so I'm told. Okay, so the interview went really, really well. It was more like talking to a couple of friends than sitting down at the board of like a whole load of grey-suited people. So it was very, very friendly, and I felt most welcome there, which is fantastic. I had 2 people on my interview, and it was more like talking to friends, as I said. So I asked them questions about certain things that I found on the internet, which was interesting, and a few other questions I needed to know about the job itself. And then after that, that took about 20 minutes maybe. After that, I got changed, and they wanted to do a physical. Okay, so they already know your medical background because you put it in the paperwork already. The physical is how well you are with your cardio and how well you are with your upper body strength. Okay, I won't go too much into that. They used to do something called a bleep test, which the ambulance service, the police service uses. But SWAST figured out that you don't actually need to do a bleep test. It's not really part of the job. The job involves other strenuous activities which involves your body and your cardiovascular system. Okay, so I will let you think on that, okay, just to prepare. All right. So the first one was 5 minutes. Okay. I think if you are a normal everyday Joe who does a lot of walking, you know, then you're probably fine. Okay. If you are very, very, very overweight, you might have a little bit of a problem with this. Okay, so maybe get to a gym and try to get your cardiovascular at a reasonable level. The other aspect of the physical was an assimilation of arriving at a scene. Now, they don't expect you to know first aid. They don't expect you to know what to do when a scene comes along, so don't worry about anything like that. It's not a first aid test or anything like that, because that panicked me a little bit because I haven't done first aid for about a year. Okay, but they ask you to do something which takes 10 minutes, and believe me that this work that you have to do for 10 minutes can be quite strenuous, so it's going to check on your upper body strength and your stamina. Okay, again, I won't go into too much details because it won't be fair on everybody else, you know, who needs to do it. But what I suggest you do is work on your upper body strength, like maybe some press-ups or maybe some assimilated first aid actions, which means that you need to keep something going for 10 minutes. Okay, that will be fine, and so most people are actually quite good with that. Okay, so that's the 2 physicals. The next one was the driving test. Now, I was lucky enough to take a Sprint. I think it's going to say the Sprint or something. It's quite a large van, which they simulate being as the space of how large an ambulance is. Because obviously we can't drive real ambulances, so we'll have to drive a van which is similar in size. Okay, so this is about a 3.5 ton van, I suppose. My one was automatic because that's the one they used, so to be expected to use either an automatic or a manual. Okay, my advice is always, always, always use your common sense, use your really good driving abilities, always use your mirrors, and look at the road in a very good way, you know, so show that you are observant. Even when you're stopped at a traffic light, look that you're observing all the time, okay? Don't just sort of take your hands off the, you know, and just wait for the... I've seen someone do that. Take your hands off the steering wheel and just wait like that. So be observant all the time, okay? And what will happen is that they have a sheet of paper next to you. There's just one person. And anything that is slightly incorrect, like, I don't know, slightly hesitant to move off perhaps, they'll put a little tick in a box, okay? The point is they don't really want to have any marks on that piece of paper, okay? And they'll have something like warnings, or they'll have danger ones. If there's anything in danger, that's it, you failed. I think you can only have maybe 5 questionable ones or something. I really wasn't sure how they were looking at it, but I think if you have more than 5 marks in a certain area of boxes, I think there's like 3 columns, and the first one is you can have so many ticks. The second column you can only have 5 ticks, and the third column is just as soon as you get a single tick in that danger one, that's it, you're out. Okay, so be really, really good with your driving. Look at your mirrors, because you haven't got a rear view mirror, you only got the side mirrors, okay? And explain things, you know, you're slowing down, or I see this car up ahead, he's turning in, I'm going to just back off a little bit. So if you do a mistake and you think, oh crikey, I've done something wrong, say to them, oh, I should have done that, I should have done this, so they realise that you've done a mistake, but you've learnt by it, okay? So that's a little tip there. After that, or before that, whenever, however they put these in sort of order, there's also a driving theory. Now I thought it'd be like one of those computer things, you know, because I'm back in the time where we only did a theory and you did a driving test and that's it. But nowadays you've got these computers that do what do they call them, hazard perception. But we didn't do that for the interview. Okay. So the theory is literally you have 50 questions or whatever it's going to be. It takes about 20 minutes. So if you have to need reading glasses, then also take those. And you'll have some questions about traffic signs. Okay, so be really, really knowledgeable of traffic signs. Okay, and you'll have other questions in the book which you may not think was relevant. All right, so look at everything in your book. Now, I don't know if I've got it with me at the moment. I used to do. Okay, this one is the latest one for this year. Okay, so I would say use that as a guide, and that you also have another one of these which is specifically for the driving signs. Okay, the road signs. Use both, and then take your test. Now, when I first did this 5 years ago, I was 90%. I passed it. Now, I felt really annoyed because I was 4 points out passing this time around. Okay, silly questions that I came up with because basically I wasn't looking at the shape of the sign. I was looking at something else, and the nerves got me a little bit. So I'm having to do a retest, which is brilliant. And instead of going all the way down to Taunton to do it, I'm just going down to Bournemouth. Okay, so that's only like a 15-minute drive rather than a 2.5-hour drive. Okay, so that is basically what happens when you go for an interview, and hopefully, after passing it, and you're passing your theory, you're passing your test, and everything else, what will happen then? They'll ask you at the interview, is to tick the boxes on what areas that you're happy to work out of. Now, with me personally, southwest, or rather, it's actually southeast on the paperwork for some reason. I've ticked things like Bournemouth, Christchurch, around that area, because that's obviously where I'm from. So you'll see there's like sections of the topography of where you are, and you just make sure, try and tick as many as you can, because that gives them a really decent idea of, you know, where you can be based out of, and it gives you a more decent ability to actually work. Yeah? So if you're not fortunate enough to find work straight away, i.e. there's no space in, say, I don't know, Christchurch, what they do, they put you into what's called a pool, and it's loads of people are in this pool, and as soon as a placement arrives in whatever station it is that you've ticked that you could do, then you're sent to that station. So before you start the job, I'm told you do 5 weeks of clinical training, and you do 3 weeks of driving blue light training. And after that, I understand there's also some kind of test, obviously, which needs to be done, because it's obviously blue light, you need to make sure you do it correctly, and I guess with a clinical you have to be tested there as well. And after that, then you're put onto your shift. Now, from the understanding I have with the course itself, the 8-week course altogether, I think it's a 9 till 5. So if you're like me and you've got kids, you have to figure out what we're going to do with drop-off and pick-ups and things like that. Okay, because I don't have any family near me that can help me, so I've got problems at the moment straight away. The other thing is, the shifts I understand that they do is either a 10 or 12 hour. So be knowledgeable that you're going to have shifts that are quite long, And if you've got children, who's going to do the runs, the school runs, and also holidays, of course, who's going to do that? Okay. The ECA salary starts quite low. I think it's the upper end of 16,000 a year, from what I understand. But the good thing about SWAST is that they are really, really helpful for those who want to move on to be a paramedic. They're actually encouraging people to go from an ECA to a paramedic, which is brilliant for me, because that's where I want to go if I can get the chance to. So if that's your job, if that's your wish and your dream job to be a paramedic, ECA, emergency care assistant, is a really good way of getting in. Basically, you're not going to be given the responsibility of doing the drugs, which is great. That's the paramedic one. Everything else you do, okay? So that gives you a really good opportunity of knowing the job, of knowing the routes and how to drive as well, knowing where your stuff is in your bags. So it's a very good, I suppose, work experience before the paramedic comes along. I think nowadays paramedic 1 is a 3-year course, 3-year degree or something. And I think there's a distance learning. They've changed it from now from Open University. They're not using that anymore, I believe. They're using something else now, but it's going to be better than it was before. They had problems in the last one. So they're all there to help you. Okay. Anyway, that's that done. Okay, so if you've got any questions, if I missed anything out or you didn't understand what I'm saying, I do apologise. I'm quite tired, as you can see. I've had a long day today, so I'm sorry for everything else. If you've got any questions, drop me a comment, and if you want to like and subscribe to this channel, I'll be really happy. And really best of luck of anyone who is looking to join the ambulance service or who's just thinking about it. Because when I was in the PTS, the patient training, the patient transport service originally, I thought this is the best job in the world. It really is, because you're out there, you're in the fresh air, you're helping people, and you're helping people on their worst days of their lives. Okay, and I've been in a situation where I've had to have, the ambulance service help me and my family, and they've done a sterling job, and it's nice to, give back and say thanks, really. So think of that in your interview. Alright, anyway, take it easy, guys. Happy Yuletide to everybody who celebrates it, and happy Christmas for those who celebrate that as well. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.